Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to be here today to talk about a fascinating topic. What if I told you that the biggest signs of divorce aren't actually about money fights, hobbies, or personality differences? Today, we'll explore research that reveals the real predictors are much more subtle and surprisingly more powerful. Our focus will be on uncovering those hidden patterns that can actually forecast divorce before it happens. So, let's dive in and discover what these signs are and how understanding them can make a real difference. After studying over 3,000 couples for decades, Dr. John Gottman, who is one of the most respected relationship researchers in the world, made a fascinating discovery. He found that he could predict whether a couple would get divorced with an incredible 94% accuracy, and he did this by simply observing how they argued for just 5 minutes. This highlights how crucial communication patterns are in relationships and shows that even in brief moments, there are telltale signs of a couple's future stability. It really underlines the importance of understanding and managing conflict in healthy relationships, which ties into the overall theme of how we can build lasting, resilient partnerships. Now, let's explore how seeing the best in each other plays a crucial role in strengthening our relationships. When we focus on the positive, it creates a sort of positive sentiment override, where the good feelings outweigh any negativity. This helps us notice and appreciate each other's efforts more often. Daily moments of connection and attention are equally important. These small, consistent gestures build trust and intimacy over time. It's about being present and attentive to each other's needs. Emotional responsiveness is another key element. When we respond appropriately to each other's emotions, it fosters a deeper sense of understanding and safety. It's not just about what we say, but how we tune into and validate each other's feelings. Now, during conflicts, the way we communicate becomes even more critical. How you fight, how you handle disagreements can either bring you closer or create distance. Recognizing these patterns helps us identify what to change. This leads us to the core idea. Let's break down the 3 hidden patterns that shape whether a marriage thrives or falls apart. These patterns are often invisible, but have a powerful influence on the health of a relationship. Understanding them is the first step toward building a stronger, more resilient partnership. Couples who last don't fight less, they fight better. The key is not avoiding conflict, but learning how to handle it constructively. The antidote to destructive fighting. It's replacing blame with curiosity. Instead of saying, "You never help with dishes," try saying, "I feel overwhelmed when the dishes pile up. Could we figure out a system together?" When you feel the urge to roll your eyes or withdraw, take a pause. Breathe. And choose to address the issue, not attack your partner personally. Now, let's talk about some common destructive behaviors during conflict. First, stonewalling. Emotionally shutting down, going silent, or walking away. Next, playing the victim or shifting blame instead of taking responsibility. Then, defensiveness, responding with excuses or denial instead of openness. And finally, contempt, mocking, eye-rolling, sarcasm, or speaking with superiority. Contempt is actually the strongest predictor of divorce, so it's crucial to recognize and avoid it. Another damaging behavior is attacking your partner's character, like saying, "You never help around the house," instead of describing a specific behavior. And criticism, constantly pointing out flaws rather than addressing issues constructively. Remember, conflict itself isn't the problem. It's how we handle it that makes the difference. Gottman identified 4 toxic behaviors. He called them the 4 horsemen that signal the downfall of a relationship. It's not if you fight, but how you fight that determines your relationship's health. Even when you're tired or busy, turning toward your partner instead of away sends a powerful message. "You matter to me." And over time, these small acts really do make all the difference. These tiny moments, whether it's a simple glance or a kind word, either build or break emotional trust. Every time your partner reaches out and you respond, by listening, showing interest, or just acknowledging them, you're depositing emotional security into your relationship bank. It's about responding positively to those bids for connection. For example, when your partner says, "Look at that sunset," or shares a random thought, they're really saying, "Notice me, connect with me." Gottman calls these bids for connection. The key point here is that it's not about grand gestures or perfect compatibility. It's about how you respond in the small, everyday moments. This responsiveness is what I like to call the everyday glue of a relationship. Research shows that couples headed for divorce respond positively to bids for connection only about 33% of the time. Meanwhile, stable couples respond positively about 86% of the time. So the takeaway is clear. Emotional responsiveness in those small moments is what sustains trust and intimacy over time. It's really the second predictor, after overall commitment, that plays a crucial role in the health of your relationship. This slide is about a crucial mindset shift in how we approach our relationships. It doesn't mean ignoring problems or avoiding conflict. Instead, it's about choosing to see your partner through compassion rather than contempt. Remember why you fell in love in the first place. When mistakes happen, try to see them as temporary and situational rather than personal character flaws. For example, if your partner is having a bad day, remind yourself, they probably had a lot on their mind today. That's the power of what we call the compassion lens, seeing your partner's actions with understanding and kindness, which is permanent and personal. On the other hand, if you see mistakes as proof of character flaws, you might think, they're so inconsiderate, which is the contempt lens. This shift in perspective is vital because even when your partner messes up, assuming good intentions helps you respond with love instead of frustration. It's about seeing their flaws through a lens of love, not contempt. And here's the surprising part. Research shows that the third predictor of relationship health isn't shared values or interests, but what's called positive sentiment override. This means choosing to see the best in each other, even during tough times. It's a mindset that encourages us to interpret our partner's actions positively, which can make a huge difference in how we experience our relationship daily. The happiest and longest-lasting couples aren't those who never argue or who agree on everything all the time. Instead, they're the ones who have learned how to repair, reconnect, and reframe their interactions, again and again. It's really a skill, and it can be practiced. For example, you can consciously work on assuming good intentions, which helps prevent misunderstandings from escalating. Practicing compassion is also key. Being attentive to your partner's small bids for attention, those little gestures or words, can make a big difference. When you notice these, responding thoughtfully helps strengthen your connection. Another crucial skill is learning how to communicate with respect, especially during conflicts. Respectful communication keeps the dialogue open and constructive, rather than destructive. And here's the most encouraging part. None of these skills depend on finding the perfect person. These are learnable skills, and anyone can develop them with practice. The beautiful truth is, these traits aren't about luck or innate talent. They're skills we can all learn and improve. That's what makes healthy, lasting relationships possible for everyone. What surprised you most about these predictors? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this helpful in seeing relationships from a new perspective, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more science-backed insights into love, trust, and emotional connection. Remember, small shifts in these areas can totally change your relationship's trajectory. It's all about examining your interpretations and assumptions. What story are you telling yourself about their mistakes? Pay attention to the small moments of engagement. How often do you turn toward your partner's attempts at connection? Notice your patterns during disagreements. How do you handle conflict? If you're in a relationship, start paying close attention to these signs. Reflect on what you observe, and then take action. Small changes in your mindset and behaviors can make a real difference in building stronger, more trusting relationships.